Danaconda, Dan Sesnit. Dan, how you doing?
I'm living this live stream life now. I know my connection is not great. We're still working this out, but I'm great, man. Having fun. Gonna watch Final Battle tonight. We got some predictions coming up for y'all. But this is fun, good times.
Yeah, final battle tonight. I can't believe I'm spending money on it. Wink. And yeah, it's not that bad of a card, and we're gonna cap off the show. We're gonna finish the show with that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Just gotta say, like, man, with how tough life and work has been this past week, thank God it's Friday. Thank God we're here talking professional wrestling. Um,
Yeah,
but I think it would be appropriate that today, as we sit, December 15th, 2023, we talk about the most recent thing that we learned today first. And that is the biggest news, that Kenny Omega is injured and he will be out indefinitely. Um, I
womp womp.
yep, there he is,
Yeah.
giving the thumbs up at least.
I'll be honest, man. I would fake an injury to get away from Chris Jericho too. But in all seriousness, I don't know what it is that happened to him, but he
Here's the thing.
hopefully
I
gets
think
better
that
soon.
it's pretty obvious to me that he was in this tag team angle with Chris Jericho in order to remain relevant, yet also not take a lot of bumps and kind of preserve his body
Sure.
in a way. So, like, the basic criticism was, what is Kenny not doing working the Continental Classic? What
Hmm.
is Kenny doing not, being in more high profile programs? And I feel like this is just, this is telling of all of that stuff. Um, Kenny is somebody that works just such a high intensity style. Unlike, I would say he's probably in the 1% of wrestlers who go that hard.
You think so? I think a
I would,
lot more wrestlers now go at that speed. I wish that some of them didn't. Right?
yeah,
Because
but Kenny can kind of like go at that speed for like 40 to 60 minutes sometimes. So I feel like that's kind of what separates him from the pact, and obviously that's what really has brought up his bump card.
yeah,
Um,
he's
and
also
and
been doing this a lot longer than most people realize. Right?
yeah,
Like he's been. I mean, god damn.
he's been a wrestler for at least 20 years now.
At least, and that's a long fucking time for
Hmm.
anybody to do anything, let
Especially in the
alone
last
get.
10 years, he's working at the hardest pace he ever has.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that everyone should just respect the fact that Kenny needs to get his body right. If we truly want to see the best Kenny Omega, just allow him the most time possible in order to recover, because we don't want to see, as great as his matches were this past year, I believe that he was still working despite lingering injuries. So I think that we owe it to him to get his health in order, and as fans, we need to be patient and just respect the fact that there's other really great members of the AEW roster that can fill that void in the meantime. And just want to mention too, especially coming off that horrendous tag team exchange from Dynamite this past week, I am really glad that that is just getting the kibosh right now between those two teams, because they just, at least on the microphone, they had no chemistry with each other.
Man, that was
It was so
just
awkward.
it was very cringe.
Yeah, it was
And
clunky.
the best pop you get was calling out how cringe it was is not a good look. It was
No,
tough. Maybe Kenny kind of knew this was coming and couldn't put his heart into it. Maybe, hopefully, who knows, really. But
it was just, yeah, and like you're explaining here, it felt like every single person in that segment was uninspired by what was going on.
I mean, it's not been a feud that's been fun to watch, right?
No.
I think uninspired has been the best way that I've seen it put. It's an unfortunate thing that.
And for this to be the feud over the tag team titles too, and for
Yeah.
it to not have been what it was supposed to be of FTR versus the Bucks. Like, come on, like this is supposed to be better than that scenario. So I will say this too, with Kenny being out, the Bucks really need to figure out what their role is going to be, get going on this supposed um, stable that they're going to be a part of.
Which is what?
And I don't know. I heard that they're going to have some heel stable with Brandon Cutler and Cole Cabana.
Oh, okay,
Maybe they're the
whatever.
masked people. Maybe they're in the masked.
Oh God, this I don't know. I mean, I guess we're covering the masks at some point today, but like, if not, I have to say I'm kind of at the point where I just want to see the end of it. Right, to me, I'm just like, like I want it to be over, and it
I do too.
feels like they're dragging it out because it's probably somebody from the batch of releases that'll be free in 6 days.
Hmm.
So I don't know, or they want to use it as an excuse for MJF to lose the title come World's End, right?
Yeah,
Maybe that's the case.
yeah. I mean, maybe it's Dolph Ziggler. You know,
I mean, I'd Mustafa Ali is a better Mustafa or
so he can
whatever his
just
name
be
is.
Retribution 2.0.
It
They're
really would be, wouldn't
if
it?
it is Mustafa Ali, they're gonna get dragged over the coals just by the fact of the similarities between those two groups. You know, so I really hope they don't go that route because
I don't think they're as similar.
people are still gonna say it.
Yeah, but like Retribution was more of the Antifa thing. This is more of a gang of masked thugs, right?
Hmm.
Like that was sort of the comparison that we had. So I don't think it was something that like some ding dong might make the comparison, but if it's done right, I'm not going to complain. Also, I guess it was sort of confirmed that Jungle Boy's not going to be the ultimate, person behind it, which is making it interesting because they've obviously thrown that red herring out there regarding the glass and whatnot. Um, the early reports on this was it was people that were playing the characters underneath the hoods. I don't think that that's true anymore.
I don't think so either. I think that they had a defined plan, and then like injuries altered the plans, so they have to go a different direction now, and I feel like they're still trying to figure things out with that.
Something's got to happen soon, man. I mean, I know we tend to get impatient as wrestling fans, and I
Hmm.
try not to, but uh, uh, I want to pay off sooner rather than later on this one. I'm hoping for it come World's End at the latest. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. And if it doesn't happen at World's End, then like,
when
what are we doing here?
when
Yeah,
when
and then that's the only time where if it doesn't happen, somebody would be like, "Well, it's not the end of the world," and we could just be like, "Yeah, it actually is. It's literally World's End."
this is the World's End, and how fitting for it to happen in Long Island. I
Right.
always thought Long Island was going to be the downfall of civilization, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kidding,
Absolutely,
Long
man.
Island. I love you.
Uh,
Do I?
I don't think we have that much love for Long Island.
I really don't.
Some select people in Long Island. Let's just keep it that way.
Couple, two, three.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's also talk about something that happened on Monday night on Raw. I know we don't talk about Raw too much. We're going to be talking about Raw a little bit more often, just because, like, I feel like some of the stuff that's happening is
Good.
fun and relevant, and some stuff on SmackDown every now and then. So we'll cherry pick through the weeks.
Sure. I mean,
Um,
I'm enjoying the product that WWE is generally putting out. Some of it stinkers, but like some of AEW shit stinks too.
yeah.
This has been iron sharpening iron the last handful of months, if I'm being honest with you. And
Hmm.
anybody that says that either one of them is like really shitty right now is just kind of saying it for shock value because both of them have really entertaining aspects coming from them. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think that WWE is putting out a good product right now. I think that AEW is putting out, you know, maybe more of a product for a specific type of fan, but
Yes.
regardless, like if you enjoy it, it's great. And I think that the Continental Classic is really nothing to scoff at. Um,
When
and
you say
we'll get
specific type of fan, you should just say it, Eric. It's me. That
for
fan is me.
smarts.
That is me. That's the fan is me. I harped on this tournament for 2 years straight, I'd
Mhm,
imagine, and now that I'm getting it, I'm pleasantly surprised. So surprised that I just kind of, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I'm so happy. I want more people in it next year. I
mhm,
do. It should be a bigger tournament. It should be on par with the actual G2 or G1, not the C2.
mhm.
They're both Gatorade flavors, whatever. I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this is a great segment on Raw, man. Just going back to, what we were
Boom.
talking about. But yeah.
This one.
So yeah, absolutely. So it kind of felt like at first a little bit of a CM Punk cookie cutter promo. He said he was going to start to, talk his shit and whatever. Um, this was a good recovery, especially from the tribute from the troops episode, where, as we said before, he made that
Stunk it
joke
up.
about people punching other people backstage, and it just fell completely flat. So this was a good recovery here. Rollins, yeah, Rollins coming out and confronting CM Punk. And dude, like, I feel like in this moment, um, I just reacted to, like, all right, let me just say this. Seth Rollins has never been someone who like I viewed as my quote unquote guy. But like in this moment and what he did, and then I just thought about just like how great he has been over the last couple years. I was team Seth Rollins all the way in this segment,
He
man.
fucking eviscerated that man. Like
He
he
really
cooked
did.
him. And there was just pure like, I understand. Here's what I'll say about this: the venom is real,
Hmm.
and I'm an AEW guy. It's apparent. I always have been. I always will be from day one. I love AEW. I'm not saying they can do no wrong. This is proof positive that controversy is cash,
Yeah.
and had they played it right, this should be Kenny and CM Punk right now, or at least should have been 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you're looking at the same. You're looking at a million plus every week on Dynamite if you could have just put everything aside and made it work.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what WWE is doing. They have the experience with it. That's the edge they'll always have. They have 50 plus years of this kind of business in their blood, in their DNA, and they're taking what Tony Khan should have done and fucking making money off of it. That's what Vince
Exactly.
McMahon did to his father,
Exactly,
right?
man.
Like,
There should have been. That's why AEW just kind of needed a pres and still might still need like a presence backstage just to kind of rally everyone together and be like, listen, put these personal feelings aside. Let's go out there. Let's make some fucking money. Let's make some fucking history. Someone like a Paul Heyman in ECW, right?
God, I'll tell
Um,
you what, man. All the flack we gave him, I think Cody Rhodes should have been that guy for AEW.
I think he would have been that guy. I
He
think
should have been.
he would have facilitated this happening.
That might have been one of the biggest fucking flubs in the history of pro wrestling. Like, we all knew Cody was that guy that wanted to be that stadium guy and get that WrestleMania, WWE title, and much respect due to that. But like, man, like what he could have like been there to sort of sort out had he been the adult in the room at that time.
Hmm.
Who knows what would have been, right? Who knows?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
absolutely.
So,
For sure. Yeah, dude. So,
was there anything
whew,
else on Raw that was significant? I don't really remember much else. I watched this, and
I don't remember a lot of other things happening. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I mean, this is really what stuck out to me, and you guys can just go watch the segment yourselves.
Yeah,
Me and
it's
Dan
worth the
breaking
watch.
it really is not going to do it justice, but Seth Rollins just basically made it a point that he is the guy that sticks around. He can wrestle circles around CM Punk, and that Phil's a huge hypocrite, because he is.
Oh, he's a huge hypocrite, but it's gonna do numbers, man. That if that ends up being the match that is the WrestleMania match,
Mhm.
then man, that's gonna be real fun to watch.
So Dan, gun to your head, who wins the Rumble now?
Oh fuck. Um, I'm still gonna say Cody.
I think so too,
I
because
I can't see, if I feel like they already had the plan in place for so long
mhm.
that um that if they deviate from that, that would just suck, man. You know what I mean? But you know, what do
I
I know?
think I think that it should be Cody because Punk has made his intentions clear on both Roman and Seth. So it would
Yeah,
be more of a, when Cody wins it, of course he's not going to challenge Seth. He's going to go right for Roman. And I think it's going to play out with Cody cutting the promo from last year, kind of letting Roman know that the bloodline is slowly going to start to crumble. And by the time, they face each other again, he's going to have no one. And I think that's going to be what we're going to see unfold over the next few months. I think
that's
that
the story.
even
Yeah.
starting with tonight, we're going to start to see some cracks in the bloodline. And I think Jimmy's going to go next, and then it's going to be Solo by like maybe Fastlane before WrestleMania, and then he's going to go into the show, and I think all he's going to have is Paul Heyman.
Um. Yeah. Maybe so. I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, CM Punk's gonna face everybody before he goes out, so sure, I'll give him that. But all in all, the CM Punk effect is real, man. I wanna watch WWE now because it is a lot of fresh shit that we haven't seen before that will happen because people aren't, you know, the fucking children that CM Punk worked with before, as he so
Yeah,
put it. So I don't know.
for sure, man. All right, so yeah, let's put a bow on WWE. Let's move on to the Continental Classic because boy, did we see some bangers this week, Dan. Um, let's just start off from Collision. The first match we had was the old classic feud of Claudio versus Eddie. And Eddie was, he was what's the word I'm looking for? On the something uh in regards to elimination. On the bubble.
On the bubble, on the brink, on the verge.
Yeah, yeah. So this was a must win for Eddie. Um, it was just kind of a what it was the pin transitions, right?
Yeah,
how he ended up winning.
yeah. It was a pretty sneaky little win there.
Mhm.
Eddie needed to win it, and I honestly, man, I mean, I know we'll have our predictions at some point, but like, I saw somebody predict Eddie versus Mox in the final as the most
Mhm.
fitting. They did have a little thing going right before Mox left for the G1, or rather Eddie left for the G1. So to maybe restore that at World's End might be a really good matchup, but I don't know if Eddie is mathematically eliminated from doing so yet.
He's not
So
mathematically eliminated yet. It's
right, okay,
everyone that's had zero wins has been mathematically eliminated.
but
Obviously.
everybody else is still in it. Okay, okay.
Yep. 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 And
So,
Andrade and Danielson kind of had a late start too.
yeah, Yeah,
Yep.
which is and that was probably because of, you know,
Danielson's injury.
Danielson's injury. So
Mhm.
I don't know, but still, so the standings are as they look here. You know what I mean? So Mox obviously at 4-0. I think Mox is going to ultimately beat Jay White, right? So, or Jay White's going to beat Mox, right? So
Mhm.
if that's the case, and Swerve wins his next match against Roosh, which I'm also saying is the case, that
Mhm.
puts it in a three-way tie, which is interesting because I always think it's effective to play off real world drama, right? When you're booking a wrestling show, and if a three-way tie plays into that, that Florida State getting lumped out of the championship game, or
Mhm.
or playoff rather. Um, it could be interesting. Is somebody going to get odd man out? Are they going to flip a coin? How's that going to work out? So it is a little something that should be interesting. I am praying that it's not a scenario where they go with a three-way dance. I don't
I hope
like
not
that.
either.
I don't think it's right. I think that something has to give. But
I think it should be more of a two-way tie from two out of the three of the people that you named,
yeah.
and there's a
So,
tiebreaker.
but we'll see.
Well,
I
is
am.
wait, Dan, isn't the way that it works is like if there is a tie on top, they have like a final of that block? Like how are
Uh,
they
I believe that if there's a tie at the top, then whoever had the tiebreaker would the win over the other would be
would move
there.
on?
But if it's all three of them, a three-way tie, one beat one beat the other, and then the other beat the other, it's
Mhm.
kind of all over the place. So,
Yeah.
God, got an itchy nose tonight. Sorry, guys.
So
Um,
what does the blue league look like?
all right,
All
so the
right.
blue league is a little bit behind. Again, I think the Blue League all goes off tomorrow night, so they'll catch up with Gold League tomorrow.
Mhm.
Who are the matches for Collision? Do you know?
I don't have the collision matches. I couldn't
Okay.
find them. Um,
Okay.
but Brody King and Danielson still have to face each other. Um, let me see
Okay.
what else. Oh, Claudio and Danielson still have to wrestle each other.
I'm actually really looking forward to that. Because
Claudio and Danielson.
yeah, I like when the BCC wrestle each other. I like the whole point of it. I like the fact that they do it. So
I know
it's
we've
definitely
predicted this for a few matches, but I could see that being the one that goes to a draw, which either neither of those guys would want to give up because they're so competitive with each other. I think that they could tell a great story with that with respect to that. Um, but looking at the blue league though, it's so who would have thought Andrade would be in the lead right now?
oh man, he has wrestled everybody the way that he should, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's interesting to see where they've come. It's interesting to even have Andrade in this tournament. He's been, pegged as a guy that's been unhappy for a while. So
Mm-hmm. I
why
think
why do
that
that?
yeah, so Andrade and Danielson from Collision last week I thought was tremendous. I thought it told such a good story. I thought it addressed the fact that Danielson was on such short rest with Garcia the night before. He goes into this match, Andrade works on that exposed eye and just beats Danielson to the point where like Danielson just has to give up, pins him 1, 2, 3 after the double knees. Uh, so Andrade is just, he's really owning in on the psychology into this tournament, and I like it. And then like he took a different kind of approach against Brody King, kind of wore out Brody King on Wednesday night. So yeah, and those are the type of stories you like to see in these sort of tournaments. You really start to see, game plans unfold um, in G1 type matches, and that's what we're seeing in the classic now. Bless you, Dan.
Guys, I'm having a sneezing fit on this here live stream, and I apologize.
He sneezed again, guys. He just has his mic off.
Andrade's wrestled a different match against everybody, and his game plan has worked out to perfection, and good for him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's fun to see. And then Roosh and Jay Lethal happened. I couldn't help but feel bad for Jay Lethal in this match. I do want to see him get some sort of win. I want to see him, and like I said last week, I want this to be a tournament where like he finishes and he realizes like, God, I used to be like a really excellent wrestler, and look what being in this Jarrett circus has done for me. So like even if they end up doing like Jay Lethal versus Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett puts over Jay Lethal, I think that would really help Jay out.
I actually think that that's something that Jarrett would do in putting over Lethal in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, absolutely, man. Take your vitamin C, everybody. And then we had Jay White and Mark Briscoe. And this was another one where it was just like, damn, can you just give Mark Briscoe something, right? Mark Briscoe hasn't had a single win here in the tournament. I think at the very least they're just going to play up that like maybe he could play spoiler to somebody that could get very far in the tournament. Maybe he's the one that fucks up Moxley. And the way that they have been, playing up Moxley, with him being somebody that, cheated against Swerve very obviously on Wednesday, that's not going to get a very good reaction. Obviously, they're going in a heel route with Moxley right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would be have Moxley and Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe face each other yet? Actually,
yes. I think that
they
they were
already
the
have.
first match. So I think that while your theory is nice, all that Mox has left is the match against Jay White.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But yeah, I was supremely disappointed with Swerve losing to Moxley and Moxley having to cheat for it too.
It
So
drives them into a darker place, so I kind of like it. It makes
mm-hmm.
sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense from a storytelling for Swerve perspective, and I
Mm-hmm.
just enjoy the direction.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right. Dan, do you have anything left for the Continental Classic?
No, I
Believe
couldn't
you're
find the
muted, sir.
matches. I couldn't find the matches for Collision either. So, to me, I don't know, but I'm excited to talk about it once everybody sort of gets to an even plane.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right. So just going on the other side of things, NXT happened on Tuesday night. Did you watch any of NXT, Dan?
Uh, some of it.
So
Some of
the
it. I caught some highlights. I tried to watch what I could, but I know that the prevailing question is
who attacked
so
Trick Williams?
yeah. I think that that's the big storyline. Can I just say right off the rip, like Trick Williams, man, I know that you had a little bit of beef with him early on in his career as a sidekick or whatever, and weren't really a big fan. I think that there's, audio evidence of that, but um, I think that I hope that you enjoy being wrong in this respect because, man, like he's improved immensely as a character and with the crowd and in the work he's done here. In so much so that I think he's overshadowed Carmelo in a lot of ways, and that's really excellent
Definitely
for him.
right now he's overshadowed Carmelo, and I think that's in part to Melo kind of having an underwhelming run as NXT champion. Like I don't really that wasn't necessarily his fault in my opinion. I thought
I don't
that the
think he had an
booking
underwhelming run. I thought he had a pretty
I
decent
think he
one.
kind of did. He wasn't necessarily the focal point of shows a lot.
That's true. Yeah,
And
that's fair.
and it just he didn't seem as prominent on the show as when he was North American champion for whatever reason. I mean, I don't think that's his fault at all. But I think that as interest kind of waned with Carmelo, Trick kept doing his thing. Trick kept cutting fun promos. He's improved in the ring a lot. I think that proof of how over he is just how enthusiastic the fans get, the whoop that trick chants. Um, as much as we hate Booker T, the way that he kind of synchronizes with the Trick
Yeah.
Williams entrance,
He's got
that
his he's got
that's a
his
huge vote of
charming
confidence.
points. I do
Yeah,
not like him as a commentator, but he has his time where he is charming. And I do enjoy him for certain aspects of his personality. Um, but yeah, man, I've loved this trick thing. So ultimately, like it's gonna be Mellow, right? Like that's
mhm.
gotta be who it is. I can't see it
I
being
think it
anybody else.
is. We got what I believe was a red herring this week. Um, and can I just read what Trick said on the microphone also because it was just so good, so good.
Absolutely.
Trick Williams has been balling his whole life. I've been clutch. Forget Steph Curry. I'm Trick Curry. Trick McGrady. I'm 23 in LA. Never mind who you thought I was. I'm Trick James, bitch.
Yes. The Trick James bitch popped me big.
Yeah,
I
that
won't lie.
definitely made some memes
Yeah.
and whatnot over Twitter. But yeah, he had the segment with Ilya Drag. Ilya came out and was basically singing the praises of Trick, but just telling him that your journey is over come New Year's Evil because when I turn it on, I fucking kill motherfuckers. Uh,
Yeah.
so Carmelo comes out and he basically accuses Ilya of being the one that attacked both him and Trick, and Ilya wasn't having it. I thought that we were going to get some sort of resolution in this segment, but it looks like that this whole storyline is going to continue on into next week. Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, I think it's been Carmelo all along.
Yeah, probably.
I can't see it being Ilya.
I can't see it being Ilya. I mean, it makes zero sense for it to be Ilya. Have they? I
Mhm.
mean, I know they've wrestled in the past, but it was never something that was like a feud between them. No, it makes zero sense. So I'm saying it's Carmelo, and I'm saying that they ultimately do end up wrestling against each other, and
It actually was a bit of a feud between Ilya and Trick before, though, because if you remember, Trick is the reason why Ilya didn't become NXT champion the first time with his interference. So that made Ilya go nuts. So I do think that Carmelo has a little bit of a case, but just based on Ilya's character, I don't know. And maybe just my own personal bias, too. I would hate to see Ilya turn heel under these circumstances.
he doesn't.
Um,
He's not that dude though. Like he's
yeah.
never shied away from something. Like to
Mhm.
me, he's not that. He's not a sneak heel like that. Like
Yeah. He would be a bully heel,
yeah,
is what
for
he would
sure.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. So, yeah, NXT New Year's Evil next week. I'm sure we're going to get to that on our next show.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what? Tonight we have Final Battle 2023. 20 years from the very first Final Battle I ever saw, Final Battle 2003. Um, the main event of that show, it was Christopher Daniels and Dan Moff against the U.S. return of the Great Muta, and he had some tag team partner named Arashi, some fat former sumo wrestler. But he's neither here nor there. Uh, one of the biggest reactions I ever heard, though, was Great Muta coming out from that show 20 years ago. And one of the shows on that card was Brian Danielson versus Jay Briscoe, very young
Yeah.
Jay Briscoe. And I think it's a beautiful thing that, you know, Danielson has decided that he's going to team with Mox and Claudio, three guys that are already very active in this Continental Classic. So they certainly are risking injury going out there to face off against FTR, who arguably maybe best tag team matches with the Briscoes and Mark Briscoe
Yeah.
for Jay Briscoe's memory. But um, before we get to the rest of the card, I just want to talk about this one first. I think that this is the match that I'm most looking forward to of all of them.
Uh, I don't know, man. Let's just show it because this is the card that there is, right? This is what we're
Mhm.
looking at. And as much as I want to agree with you, I think that this is a culmination of Athena and Billy Starks and their rivalry, and that is going to just be
Oh,
really, really
Athena Billy Starks would run away with it if it wasn't for this match
okay.
for Jay Briscoe, in my
Okay.
opinion. Yeah.
I mean, I think every single. I mean, say what you want. A lot of people aren't really, Ring of Honor fans, but if you're looking at it, man, this is a really good card from an in-ring perspective. So
Hmm.
I'm actually really excited to watch it, and it's starting any moment now. So
Oh yeah. Oh no shit. All right. So probably happening right now is the pre-show. Um, this past week on Dynamite, we got to see a special appearance in Dallas of Kevin Von Erich and his sons, Marshall and Ross Von Erich, in conjunction with the announcement of we're a week out from the cinematic debut of the Iron Claw.
yeah,
Man, is that I cannot wait for that movie. We're definitely going to talk about that movie on here.
yeah.
So
Reviews have been mixed from the people that have seen it, but I don't give a fuck.
I
That's wrestling. Reviews are
yeah,
mixed on everything. I'm still very excited to see it,
I didn't
and
even
I'm
know
hoping that
reviews were mixed.
a little bit, but I think it's coming from people that don't really understand what they're getting themselves into. So
Hmm. That was just really sad.
yeah,
That was a bad movie, but we're just kind of like, yeah, we all know what happens.
yeah.
Um,
People
but
died.
anyway, going back to this pre-show match, I fully expect the Von Erichs to beat the Outrunners.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
So, all right, for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, hot off the press, just announced Wheeler Yuta defends against filthy Tom Lawler.
I'm here for this
What a
match.
treat!
I love Tom Lawler, man. Good
I
to
do
see him
too.
back on Ring of Honor TV. That's nice.
He's got so much charisma.
It's
He can
crazy,
wrestle with
wild,
the
man.
wrestle with the best of them.
Yeah.
He's perfect for Ring of Honor. And he's
It's
perfect as somebody who brings so much personality to that product while also, aligning with the basic wrestling that we have come to know from the Ring of
yeah.
Honor brand. You
He's
know,
definitely a pure wrestling, you know, type mainstay that you could plug in if needed. He's been really good. So
absolutely, man. All right. Next, we have an I Quit match Ethan Page versus Tony Nese. I really don't know. I am not watching Ring of Honor TV every week, so I really don't know what the basis is for this feud. Do you know anything about it, Dan?
So here's what I want to say about me watching Ring of Honor. I don't watch it every week, nor do you. I finally fixed what was going on with my subscription, so I will start watching more often. That's a fact, right? That being said, I like Ethan Page a lot. Of course, I think he does good work. Tony Nese has his moments, especially with Smart Mark. I think he's a good heel.
Thought he had a great match with Kenny last week.
Very much so. That is correct. But an I Quit match is such a a final match, um,
Hmm.
and I know nothing about the feud, so it's going to be hard for me to be totally invested in it. So I'm just going to be there for the the feats of athleticism and go from there.
Yeah, and the video package that's going to happen,
Yeah.
presumably before the match, that's going to cover everything that happened.
Yep.
So we'll be caught up to speed.
Yeah.
All right, for the Triple A Mega Championship, El Hijo del Vikingo defends against Black Taurus. Man, this is just going to be a lot of fun, man.
I love
We
Tony Khan in so many ways, and one of those ways is he will no doubt, whenever capable, throw
Mhm.
you a fucking banger of a lucha match on any card he can.
Yeah,
And I love him for that, man. Like bless his tiny little heart, cocaine filled heart.
and at least this one has meaning. It is for the Triple A Mega Championship. It's just not happening for no reason.
Yeah.
Taurus would be just such a great get for Ring of Honor if they can get him on there full time. I think we also need to see a lot more Gringo Loco. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is gonna bang. I think it's also worth mentioning that Impact announced that at their Hard to Kill show that's going to happen in January, Chris Sabin's going to be defending the X Division title against Kushida and Vikingo. So that's going to be a fucking banger too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Also, Osprey and Okada are on that Vegas card for TNA too. You saw that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, they're both on that card. I
Oh,
don't remember
wow.
what their matches are. I gotta look into that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're on the
You
next
know,
TNA
a
card.
lot of people, I think, in like year-end awards are gonna sleep on Okada versus Osprey from Final Battle just because it happened so long ago. It happened in the beginning of the year last year, but
Yeah,
we got to remember just how fucking amazing that match was, and
yeah.
what
I
a
already have most of my year-end awards pegged, but yeah,
yeah.
now that you mentioned that, I mean, it's definitely a top fiver. I don't know that it's my match of the year,
Hmm.
but
But
it is slept on for
it's
sure.
something that I anticipate will be slept on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Ring of Honor 6-man championships. Mogul Embassy defends against TMDK, comprised of Shane Haste, Bad Dude Tito, Kosai Fujita, which is like their young lion.
Yeah.
Um, Mogul Embassy is going to retain here.
For
What you think?
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love TMDK, but not necessarily that version of them.
Hmm.
Um, I'm yeah, Mogul Embassy. I didn't know that that Gates of Agony was back in the United States. I know they were doing World Tag League. I didn't realize that was over.
World Tag League is over. Yep. And during the World Tag League, they like joined the House of Torture for like a night,
And
and
then yeah, and
then
then beat the shit out of them. I
beat the
definitely heard
shit out.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Okay, grudge match, which I think should probably be the I Quit match, right? Keith Lee versus Shane Taylor.
That would make more sense, right?
Yeah, because this has just been a feud that's gone on for like 2 years, right?
Longer than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going
But
back to their tag
yes,
team in Ring of Honor.
there's more
Um,
of a grudge to be held with their combined history. Yes,
mhm.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got Keith Lee winning that.
Yeah, me too. He has to. Sorry, Shane Taylor. Love you, respect you, but Keith Lee needs the momentum.
And here's a match that I feel like has the potential to steal match of the night. Survival of the Fittest final for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. We have Dalton Castle versus Commander versus Kyle Fletcher versus Lee Johnson versus Lee Moriarty versus to be determined, unless of course you have that determined person, Dan.
I don't know. I have no breaking news here. I haven't heard anything, so I'm as in the dark as you. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's gonna go over like a fart in church. Like I don't think it's gonna be anybody major.
I think
Because
it's going to be Dalton, man, and it's going to be a great moment because people love Dalton Castle, and he's a great representative for that company. And yeah, he deserves it more than anyone else that I'm seeing here. And you know, I'm a Lee Moriarty mark.
yeah, no, I just yeah, maybe it is. But why not announce him?
Oh, the final person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why that is, but again, we admitted on the air that we don't watch Ring of Honor, so um, there's probably a reason for it that we're not aware of.
I'm gonna say Lee just for to be different.
Lee Moriarty. That'd be
Yeah.
cool, man. That'd be real cool.
I'm gonna say Lee.
Um, and then finally, the main event for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, Athena defends against her former minion, Billy Starks. Um, I think we kind of talked about this before. I am in agreement with you, Dan, at least based on what you said last time we talked about it. I think that this would be a great passing of the torch moment for Billy Starks to be someone that is truly, you know, very, very young in the business, but in this area of Ring of Honor, which is not quite, you know, the main roster, but this is a good way for her to kind of spread her wings and prove herself as a champion. And this would be a great sending off point to bring a red hot Athena back to the AEW roster and, you know, show everyone what they've been missing while she's been on Ring of Honor TV this past year.
Yeah, Billy's gonna win here, man, and I think it's gonna
Mhm.
be a really special moment. Ring of Honor has a history of doing this. They did it with Roxy as their champion when she was 19. So it's
Mhm.
not foreign territory.
No.
And for those that don't know, if you're listening, Roxy being Roxanne Perez
Yeah.
of NXT now. Some people actually don't know that, surprisingly enough. But no, I think that this is going to be a really big, huge moment. I think not only will I, Ring of Honor shows are for the IWC and a very a niche market. Let's be honest. And
Hmm.
when Billy does finally come through it's going to be a moment in that niche market of wrestling fans, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited to watch it when it does happen. And I hope I'm not wrong, and it's not because I hate Athena. I don't. I think that she's going to be a really super valuable addition to the main roster, lol, to the AEW roster when the time comes. But I think right now is strike while the iron's hot. Let Billy take that ball and run with it.
For sure, man. Looking forward to it. As critical as people are with the builds to Ring of Honor pay-per-views, and most of the time rightfully so, they still end up finding a way to put on a fantastic show, and I expect nothing less tonight. Um, so if ever maybe you guys will order it, maybe you won't, but regardless, like I think it is gonna bang.
It's on Honor Club.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Oh shit. Okay. I won't order
yeah.
it.
I'm pretty sure that it's on Honor Club. I could be losing it, but I think it's a Honor Club. Yeah,
Check real quick.
exclusively on
Does it
Honor
say it
Club.
on the graphic, Dan?
Exclusively on Honor Club, man. So there's no excuse not to
Really?
watch it. Yeah, yeah,
Sweet. Okay. All right. We're in.
yeah.
Okay. So I think that's it for this week. Dan, do you have anything you might want to
I
share with us?
I don't have anything very specific. I can say that we, as in Smarknado, are going to be taking a field trip to AEW Revolution come March. So that's super fucking exciting news. We got some pretty good tickets. Um,
Sting's last match,
Things
baby.
last match we're going to be in the house for. So that means that we will have been in the house for Kurt Angle's last match and Sting's last match. And I
Mhm.
hate that it is the case, but it is also a very cool piece of history. So, yeah, man, I don't have anything else. Was I supposed to have anything else?
No, that's really it.
All right. Well,
As always, guys, follow us on Instagram at SmarkNado, Twitter at SmarkNado1. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We have our YouTube up. Check that out. Lots of great interviews. We got our What a Maneuver store. All that stuff is in our link tree. So, everyone, we thank you all for the support. These live show formats are a lot of fun. We're excited to continue doing it, and we encourage everyone to be interactive.
I think the Devil's. I
Yeah.
think the Devil's going to be Will Osprey. Also, Osprey's going to be at Revolution, which is fucking sick. So,
Hell yeah.
stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.